Hey Patrick, thanks for helping out, or at least giving some advice. Let me do it, in addition to the pictures, let me do a little video. As you can see, the tree looks pretty robust. It looks best actually from our side, and walking all the way around it, which I won't do. It actually looks good from all sides, at least the canopy part of it. The trunk, let me walk towards the trunk. Again, this is from our houses right here. Okay. West is in that general direction. And so, if you notice, the trunk, there's four main limbs, or four main trunks, if you will. I'm not sure what the right terminology is. Actually, from our side, looks pretty good. And when you go around to our backyard, looking more towards the south, it doesn't look too bad either. But as you come around, looking from the west side towards the east, you can start to see, I don't know how well this video will come out, it's all hollowed out, and I'll try to get close up here. 3 of the 4 limbs are rotted in the center. This one is particularly bad. I actually cut that part off because it was completely rotted. It was ready to fall, and when I took that out, put it on the ground, that apparently was where the nest, or the main place where the carpenter ants were living. I even saw a big fat one, which I assume was the queen. Of course, I get them out of the area as quickly as possible because I didn't want them to, you know, as I understand it, they can migrate over to my house or something else. They're just looking for rotting wood somewhere. So anyway, that's pretty bad. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is all rotted out to the point where I actually shoveled out tons of the stuff, but the bottom here is all just rotted sawdust, if you will. And again, the arborist slash tree cutter came out. He pretty much looked at it and said, no, it's pretty much dead. There's not much you can do about it. I refused to give up, but anyway, so here's the limb that we saw when we first started the video looking at. It's pretty much a U-shaped with the inside very much rotted out. Oops, I'll try to reach in here. There is some kind of crap growing in here. So that's limb 1. That's the one I'm most concerned about, because that one, if you can see, is hanging out over my power line. It goes from the pole to my garage, my house. So I cringe every time we have a windstorm or a bad storm, because I'm assuming that thing's going to fall on my car, on my wife's car, my Jeep, and take up power line. I don't know. I just got a feeling no matter what I do, I thought about putting in bolting through a through bolt and cabling it with some kind of shackle turnbuckle, maybe crosswise to kind of shore it up. But that might be an option. But anyway, that one is probably the most concerning. That one's, I think, the most rotted out, pretty high up, and a secondary limb is starting to rot there. This is all hollowed out. The second worst one, or maybe even worse, is this one that I just showed. That's hanging out mostly over my garage. Again, from the outside, it looks pretty dang healthy, and it's big and stout, but you know, I can just see that thing like taking out my garage. The third, which is this one here, which call this to the I don't know, northwest, is just a little bit hollowed out. I don't know if you can. I don't know how well this comes out, but that's this one here. The rest of it looks pretty good. And then the fourth limb, which is this one here, that one looks fine. I did cut a branch. Well, actually, I don't see. Oh, cut a branch here for whatever reason. I found out that I cut it too short. I should have cut out a little bit more. I now understand that I don't cut it too close to the tree. But inside looks fine. Where it cuts to the other limbs, you can start to see rot going up through the inside. So anyway, having said all that, you know, again, there was a huge pile of sawdust. I took all of that out. You know, filled half of a trash barrel. And then the final thing, the canopy looks fine. That's the thing. If it looked diseased or it looked, you know, really bad, I would just say, well, you know, obviously we've got to give up. But I'm hoping that there's something we can do to either, I mean, I did spray it for ants. I don't really see any active evidence of ants, but again, I don't necessarily know what I'm looking for. But I don't see any ants crawling up it. I did spray it. I did get rid of what I thought was the nest of it. So right now it looks okay, but I don't know if they're just dormant, or if they're hibernating or starting to slow down for the winter or not, and I just don't see them. But the hope would be I could take out a lot of that rot. I don't know if there's any kind of like stuff you can pack in there to stop any more rot happening, which will, you know, encourage the ants to grow in there. Again, I don't know if there's any kind of cross bracing. I even thought of taking a couple of these, or half of the tree down, and then hopefully encouraging the rest of it to grow up straight. Again, these limbs, because there's 4, they do kind of tend to grow out from center. So if I took out half of it, it would look kind of odd. But, you know, who knows? I mean, if it's pretty robust, like you was just telling me, perhaps we can get some of the younger, newer, I don't know if we should call them little branch or little tiny, I know these called, I forgot what the term is, but these are things that arborists tell us to cut off, I guess, because they're just like nuisance things. But anyway, maybe some of that will grow eventually to be something else. And again, the final thing I'll say is I really like this because this tree, particularly in the summer, shades that door, which is our sunroom, shades that side of the house late in the day, which is absolutely great. Our prevailing winds come from my back towards the house, and just kind of, you can probably hear it now, the wind's blowing. Shades, it tones down that wind, which we almost have a constant wind here because we're on the end of a peninsula with the water right near us. And again, just for aesthetics, it just looks great, and a little bit of privacy. So anyway, this is a long video. I apologize, and I will take any more pictures or any more advice. And like I said, we're willing to try anything. Appreciate it. Thanks.